Oh, hello, Julie.
Hello. Hi, David.
Julie, where are you today? I noticed that you've moved into an office.
Yes. Sorry, I can't do any miraculous arrival, but I'm here in my office head office, just outside Blackpool. I recently moved and I'm at the end of the line, so my broadband connection isn't good enough. So I did say to our policy chairman and our national chairman that it's time we started lobbying BT again, because this simply isn't good enough when we have so many people now encouraged to work from home and have quite honestly switched their lifestyles over the last 12 months. So we really need to get, what we consider to be the fourth utility to the standard that we should all expect it. So yes, I'm in my office now.
It's always windy when I've been to Blackpool. What's it like there today?
Windy.
Windy, there we go. Yeah, you're right about the internet. I mean, a year ago, we weren't using these platforms. We are now. I've had to buy a 30-metre Ethernet cable to make sure that I'm plugged in so that I can lead it all the way through the house and super fast and all of that. But that's the world we live in. And you're going to tell us a little bit more about what's been happening at FSB and across the UK business-wise. There's been so much going on with the pandemic, with Brexit, with businesses, with the economy. And I know you're going to set the scene now and tell us what we can look forward to in the future. So I'll hand back to you.
Thanks, David. Good morning, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to FSB Bootcamp. I'm delighted that Sandra asked me to open the event, but I would actually like to take this opportunity to thank Sandra and indeed all of the other volunteers who are contributing to this event and for the work that they do for FSB. We rely considerably on the support and help of our volunteers, and that the unique insight that they have on small business issues. And we just wouldn't be the organisation that we are without their skill, dedication and amazing capability. As we've been saying, this event, which is about getting back to basics and getting ahead of the game, is timely as we all look to June and July to being fully unlocked and back to normal. That's fingers crossed. But what's normal? The world has had to change over the past 12 months, as I was just saying, and we need to adapt to meet those changes, but taking the best and then learning from the rest. I don't run a small business, so I can only speak really from my experience of how FSB has fared and what it's learned. So I'll share with you some of the highlights of how we managed the crisis, what we've achieved and what we've learned. So few years, FSB has been on a path of continuous development. So change is something that's really familiar to us, and it's something that we embrace. But when we were hit with COVID and the lockdown last March, we were all thrown into the unknown, which was scary, really scary and very unpredictable. But like most people, I was faced with multiple concerns: the staff and their well-being, their ability to continue to work, the business and its long-term future, but above all else, our members, who have been thrown into absolute chaos. Our members were front and centre of everything and our driving force, actually. They were our priority above all else. The first job was to mobilise our entire workforce to become home-based, and amazingly, without any problems, we did all of that in 2 days. And that was pivotal to our results. We were fortunate, but actually it was more by judgment than luck that we were prepared. We'd only recently developed a business continuity plan, something that I have to confess had been put off for some time. It wasn't something that I considered a priority, but that is until my guilty conscience got the better of me. And as I look back now, I'm just so relieved that we did that. Crisis can and does hit many of us from time to time, and in different ways, be it floods, fire, or even the totally unexpected, like the Salisbury poisonings or a pandemic. So this has been a big learning curve for me. Never be complacent, always plan for the unexpected. So there we were, country in lockdown, and our greatest challenge was working out what our members needed, and needed as a matter of great urgency. And we were talking survival here. And that's when our policy team sprang into action and did what they did best. The FSB was formed 47 years ago to have the back of small businesses, and we've absolutely provided that. The government always say to us, don't bring us problems, bring us solutions. So that's what we did. And many of our achievements were solely due to FSB, but we also collaborated with other organisations such as the CBI and TUC to gain maximum impact for the benefit of all small businesses and the economy, as well as our members, of course. So I'm going to run through our top 10 achievements because they have been so important to the business community. You know, when you hear them as one collection of achievements, it's worthy of note. So cash grants for small businesses from the outset of the crisis in different iterations all the way through to now, with the latest for retail, hospitality and leisure, and 2 billion for the supply chain. More than 1 million SMEs have been helped. The employee furlough scheme, now extended to September, saving millions of jobs in more than a million SMEs so that they can keep going and hopefully get out of the crisis and keep trading. Income support for 2.7 million self-employed extended up to a maximum of 30,000 per person. And now with an additional support for more than 600,000 newly self-employed. And that was after a long, hard campaign. Bounce back loans for small businesses up to 50,000, with repayment terms lengthened and a new ability to top up. And now repayment holiday with interest-only periods. And we hope that we can do more on this. What we really want is a student loan approach with the ability to write some of the loans off. Then we've got HMRC time to pay, available for tax bills due within 11, 12-month payment plans for delayed VAT and self-assessment payments. Business rate relief for retail, hospitality, leisure, personal care and nurseries for 2021-22, with 100% relief for 3 months and then two-thirds. And then lower VAT for hospitality businesses at 5% and 12.5% 2022. Then there's the new Help to Grow programme for 130,000 SMEs for management training and digital advice and vouchers, which will be much needed. And then £2,000 small business grants to help those trading with the EU to overcome export barriers and get help. And then the small business, small profits carve out from and taper to the future hiking corporation tax, 19% versus 25%. The development teams as well have been equally proactive and achieved some really impressive results. 93,000 small businesses in Scotland received small business grants of £10,000 and £25,000, valued at more than £1 billion. By the end of last year, 600 million had reached over 70,000 businesses in Wales through the brilliant Economic Resilience Fund. And in Northern Ireland, they secured something that UK couldn't do, and that was 20 million for a Northern Ireland limited company director support scheme and a further 10 million to support 3,000 newly self-employed people who've been excluded from other UK-wide and devolved support. Of course, there's the non-cash achievements too, and these are from just a few months ago, really. And that's the unlock process, which has been pulled together so it's as small business friendly as possible, with clear dates and notice periods for each stage. So it gives businesses the opportunity to get up and running. The financial support is continuing way, way beyond the restrictions easing, which is critical to ensure businesses can survive until the economy bounces back. And then we've opened workplace testing to small businesses after they were excluded. So important for the safety of our business owners, staff and customers. We've also had a moratorium on evictions for those small businesses behind in rent and extended help on things like insolvency rules so people can keep going. And the Kickstart scheme that we've done with the government is now beginning to show results, with the first 100 vacancies now live in job centres, and we have our first young people in small businesses this week. And of course, Good Business Charter collaboration, which has been brilliant and attracting interest and attention from lots of small businesses. So of course, it's important that all this work and all this information reaches businesses and the media coverage gained has been astounding, reaching 95% of the population. We couldn't have asked for more. The biggest outlets being BBC One, ITV1, Radio 2, Radio 4, Mail Online, Daily Mail and The Sun. And since December, we've secured more than 3,300 items of mainstream media coverage, and that's national and regional. And that has an estimated value of 21 million, which is unbelievable. Now, I doubt that you would be surprised to know that we are a fairly risk-averse organisation, actually, usually taking decisions after thorough and often lengthy deliberation. But COVID didn't allow us the luxury of that time. And the senior management team and I had to make faster yet considered decisions, get them to the board very quickly. They turned them around quickly as well. And a good example was on an agreement we made with the media group Metro Mail to process their very good offer of £6 million free advertising for small businesses. That decision from start to rollout took just 2 weeks to complete, and that was including the website development that we needed. Pre-COVID, we would have taken weeks to get to something like that, and it may never have even happened. We also opened the COVID Facebook page to provide members with a support hub, enabling them to speak to each other without management or interference from staff, something we would have procrastinated long and hard over in the past. But it's worked really well and now has 4,500 businesses registered. The last 12 months, has no doubt, has had some devastating consequences. But as I said earlier, we have been able to learn and take some positives from it. Pre-COVID, we used to hold face-to-face events like this. We'd all be in one room. And we never really challenged that concept. But with no other option, we suddenly had to adapt online. That change was forced upon us, but the results have been startling. Over the last 12 months, we held 1,850 events with over 50,000 attendees, and that's more than double the attendance at our physical events in 2019. And one member told us that through our free events, he'd been able to meet 8,000 people in 8 weeks. These virtual events have enabled people to expand their businesses outside of their local area, attend events which they were previously unable to do due to work or care commitments or travel time. And of those attendees, 80% reported they were happy with our events. So that's an amazing achievement. Communication, as we were saying earlier, is always important, but it's been critical over the past 12 months. Our members were desperate for information, and we made sure that they had the very latest updates presented as clearly as possible. And of course, it's never been more important that we spoke to government on behalf of our members. Their very own compelling case studies were used to great effect. And I'm asked many times, what have you learned from the COVID crisis? And I think we've learned a lot, really. We've learned that having a plan and being prepared for the unknown is vital. It's like having insurance. You may never need the plan, but it really pays off if you have one when things go wrong. We've learned that we should accept change and seize opportunities that change offers. And take help when it's offered. We've had so much help that's been offered to us by large corporations, similar organisations to us, and likewise, we've given help. So, look to collaborate with others. And of course, embrace technology. We're in a new world now. Fortunately, we've been on a path of digital development, so we were in a good place to embrace it. But embrace new ways of working and try something different. It often pays off when you least expect it. And look forwards, not back. We have a whole new future ahead of us. It's different, but I find it really exciting. We've got lots of opportunities ahead of us, and FSB is really going to prosper on the back of that. And finally, you've all just seen Lindsay. I cannot say all I've said without paying tribute to the FSB staff team. They have worked way above and beyond their contracted hours or job descriptions. Their can-do attitude and understanding has been exemplary. and many of them have been a lifeline to members in their hour of need. FSB has come out of this crisis a better organisation, with member numbers holding, a member retention figure of 87.6%, and new products and services on the horizon, and tremendous government respect from across all the UK nations. FSB is, I'm pleased to say, stronger than ever, and will continue to do more than ever to support the business community. And I thank you all for the support you give us in return. And as we start to reopen the economy and your businesses, I wish you all the greatest success. Sadly, I can't stay for the event as it's the FSB's AGM today, but I hope you all have a really great day, and thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I know you've got a busy day on ahead up there in Blackpool. Should just explain why the offices are in Blackpool. Is because the founder of the FSB back in the 70s was from that neck of the woods, and that's where he decided to have the head office. So that's where you are. So thanks for joining us. You mentioned their collaboration as a top tip. Absolutely. I know my business froze literally last year when all events, live events, were cancelled. Made me panic. Thank goodness the FSB had got my back, not just as a member, but as a small business. You've had everybody's backs, and that's been good. Good to see you and the chair of the organisation popping up on TV, and you think, yeah, I've got somebody in my corner, which is great. So I want you to pass on our thanks to all of the staff, volunteers and members that have helped us to get where we are today. Through the pandemic especially. But collaboration is such an important thing. For me, I've collaborated with this studio.